In the 14th chapter of Sefer Breshit, we read of a massive battle that took place in the time of Avraham Avinu. 4 kings against 5. They battle over the mastery of the land of Israel. And yet in the course of that battle, Lot, Avraham's wayward nephew, is taken captive by 4 kings. Avraham doesn't hesitate for a moment, and he goes to save his nephew. Battling the kings despite the personal danger, entering into a war with just 318 soldiers, men who Chazal teach us had come under his influence and joined in his belief in the one true God. And miraculously, Avraham frees Lot. He's victorious over the 4 kings. And it is at that time that HaKadosh Baruch Hu assures him that he would protect him. Al tira Avram, fear not Avram, Anochi Magen lach. I am a shield to you. Scharacha b'ma'od, your reward will be great. Chazal took this phrase of Anochi Magen lach and used it to describe the Magen Avraham, the shield of Avraham, the very words with which we conclude the first bracha of the Amidah, the one that began with Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov, now concludes with the words of just Magen Avraham, the shield of Avraham. Why do we begin with 3 and end with just 1? What is the message that Chazal wanted us to learn? Perhaps an important clue is yet another Gemara and a Halakha and Shulchan Aruch, that twice in this very first bracha, we bow. First, when we recite those opening words of the God of Avraham, the God of Yitzchak, and the God of Yaakov, and then again, when we recite the words of Magen Avraham. Perhaps what it is teaching us that there are 2 aspects to this opening encounter with HaKadosh Baruch Hu at the Amidah. The first is the Mesorah, the concept of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, part of what we discussed earlier, that each of us needs to discover God, but each of us needs to feel connected to the God of our patriarchs of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. We're part of that glorious history begun by those 3 extraordinary men and their wives. But then when we come to the end of the story, we also need to understand that being part of a Mesorah doesn't guarantee our future. Rather, it provides the necessary foundation for belief, the necessary assurance that we are the nation chosen by God to represent him in this world, and that God is graceful to us. God cares for us. But most importantly, God protects us. Magen Avraham, he protects us from those forces that try to attack us from without. The opening of the bracha is about being part of the Jewish people from within. The closing bracha, Magen Avraham, tells us that when we encounter the dangers of the world, when we're doing the right thing and yet feel threatened, nevertheless, we need to understand that just as HaKadosh Baruch Hu shielded Avraham in that terrible battle with the 4 kings, God will shield us as well. And that's the way we can begin to praise God, by seeing him as a personal, intimate God, and also the God who will shield us from all that is around us. Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, but the Magen Avraham will hold true.